Let's check about the sound. It's okay. Yeah. Can you hear me, please? If there is response to start our live. I think it's 50. Hello, can you hear me, friend? My sound is good? Okay, so let's start our topic. As I mentioned before, it was the request to explain details and clinical review for the sealers in endodontics. As you know that the sealer is very important, and in the root canal procedure also, we cannot do a root canal or finish the root canal without using the sealer. So every material, when we use it in our procedure, should be evaluated, and we should try to get the best material to get the best result and prognosis. So as a simple definition for the sealer, we mentioned that sealer is a material used to fill the gap between the core material and the spaces with the dentine. It means after the preparation of the canal, we cannot give the exact 100% shape to the canal to receive the Getaberka. So we get some gaps or spaces. So we have some ways to close these gaps. One of them, we can close it by the sealer. So the sealer used for the closing and sealing of such spaces and the accessory canals and the lateral canals that we clean by the instrumentation and the irrigation. So how we can choose the sealer, how we can evaluate the sealer, or what property we need in the sealer that to use it or to get the best result. I will mention some important property of the sealer. You should search for the sealer that I will explain now. First of all, the antimicrobial property of the sealer. It's very important, okay, to use the sealer that have the effect of antimicrobial. As you know that we deal with the bacteria, okay, and with the lesions. So endo, it's express or deal with the anatomies and the bacteria. So every material we use it should be sterilized and have antimicrobial effect. So we should choose the sealer that can fight the bacteria and help us to reduce the number and species of the bacteria. The second one is biocompatibility. Of course, we should use the sealers that's biocompatible. What's mean the biocompatible? It means when it's go out of the tissues, it means the overfilling, it will not produce inflammatory reaction. Okay, the body should tolerate this material. The Third one, solubility. Solubility of the material is very important also. It should be the sealer should be not soluble when it is contact with the water, with the saliva, or with the outer environment. Why it's important to be stable? Okay, it will be not resorb and will be fixed. We have the term solubility and resorption. Almost we think that this is the same. It's not the same. They are different from each other. Solubility means that when they contact with the water or with the liquids, with the outer environment, it will be dissolved. While the resorption it means the body can tolerate that material or not. When we do over obturation or sealer puffing, the body can resorb that sealer or not. When we can't resorb, we said we use the term it's resorbable. When the body cannot remove the sealer, we call it non-resorbable. So the other property is about the adhesion and the bonding of the sealer to the dentine. We know that in the canal, when we prepare the canal, our sealer it will be in contact with the dentine. So the bonding property of the sealer, it makes the bonding between the gutta-perca, the core material, and the dentine. So how much it's the bonding, it will be more sealing ability of the sealer and sealing of the root canal system. So we will now, after that, we will jump to the which type of the sealer have better adhesion and better property. The fifth one, setting time and working time. It's very important. You use the sealer, you will be relaxed with the sealer. Okay, not the assistant mix for you, and you cannot manipulate it. In 2 minutes it will be set. I cannot use such type of the sealer. So you should use sealer that have a good setting time and also working time. Flowability is another property which we needed. Flowability, it means the ability of the sealer to go to the canals and to the accessory canals and fill the gaps in the root canal system. The seventh one is discoloration of the tooth structure. We have such types of the sealer. We hear that most of the sealer, they cause discoloration of the tooth structure, which is disadvantage of the sealer. Every time after the obturation, we say that we should clean the chamber well and remove every point of the sealer. Why? Because it may be in the future cause the discoloration of the tooth structure. So MTA and zinc oxide ethanol is the mostly they cause this type more than the others. Radio-opacity is another property. When we use the sealer, should have a good radio-opacity to when we taking the X-ray, should we reveal the anatomies and give us a more radio-opaque area. The last one is retreatment. When you use the sealer, you should also think about if you do a retreatment for the case, you can do it or not. You know, for the non-resorbable one, when the sealer is not resorbable, the retreatment is much more difficult than the resorbable one. And that's why when we obturate with the like a MTA based sealer or bioceramic sealer, we should or we can't do a retreatment. Even we can, if we want to do retreatment, most of the cases you will do a ledge, a perforation, especially in the apical area. Why? Because it will be very solid, it will be sealed full the anatomies, and we cannot remove it. With the gutta solvent, we have no material to dissolve such type of the sealer. So we will start with the zinc oxide ethanol. As we mentioned in the previous stories, that The zinc oxide ethanol sealer is the most classical one sealer, and we use it over 100 years ago, and still we use the zinc oxide ethanol. As the name, it's composed of the zinc oxide and ethanol. It is paste and liquid, so we can mix it. Okay, powder and liquid, we can mix it. I love this sealer, and I use it for the routine cases because I can control the thickness, okay, the thickness and the flowability of the sealer. Whenever you have the sealer that composed of the powder and liquid, you know that you can mix it in thin or in thick. The thin will have more flowability. I can use it for the narrow canals. The thick one, it will have more thick, less flowability, and it's used for the large canal. If I have resorption or in retreatment case, the anatomy is distorted, okay, there's a much too structure loose, so it will be beneficial in such cases. So the disadvantage of the sealer, it's difficult to be clean after oxidation. Most of the time I will be tired to clean the chamber. When you see by naked eye, you can say that it is clean, but when you observe it under the microscope, you see that there's a lot of particles of the sealer. The problem is here, if you not remove the sealer, if you not remove it, it will affect the bonding of the composite. If you do the restoration with the composite, it will affect the bonding. As you know that the ethanol, it will inhibit the bonding of the composite. So it is the most and the problem with zinc oxide ethanol sealer, as we said, the bonding and the cleaning ability after the oxidation. According to the articles, they do a research on the zinc oxide ethanol. Zinc oxide ethanol, it shows the antimicrobial ability, and it is resorbable. When the sealer is resorbable, if you do over puffing or the sealer go out of the apex, so the tissue will remove it in the 2 weeks to 1 month. We should be careful when we treat the like lower 5 because of the mental nerve, and the lower 7s if you do root canal, because when using the zinc oxide ethanol, it will have a bad effect on the nerve cells. It will decrease the transmission of the neural cell. So whenever you treat a lower 6, lower 7, or you treat the lower 5, avoid to do over puffing, especially if you use the zinc oxide ethanol. The second time is calcium hydroxide. Okay, calcium hydroxide is like, it's weak from the physical property. Calcium hydroxide is not strong, and they use it because it have a high alkalinity, okay, and it release calcium, so it is resorbable. Calcium hydroxide is resorbable sealer, and it's release calcium. They use it before for the epixification, but nowadays we have a better sealer, which is the MTA and the bioceramic one. We will not use the calcium hydroxide nowadays as a sealer, okay. Third type, we have glass ionomer. Whenever in the dentistry we hear about the glass ionomer, it's related to the bonding effect to the dentin. But here we have a point that they say that the glass ionomer have a antimicrobial effect. As a sealer, they have no antimicrobial effect, okay, because of the releasing fluoride, but there is no effect according to the article, okay. It's useless for such purpose. When you use glass ionomer, you should etch the dentin surface, so it is much more complex procedure. You cannot do it in the middle and apical third of the anatomy. There's a clinical point, you should mention it and be careful about it. Whenever you buy a sealer, okay, be careful to not the sealer not contain paraaldehyde, paraformaldehyde, and lead with the mercury. According to the USA Foundation about the food and the material, they not accept that. Okay, it's in the classified as a toxic material. You cannot use it in the sealer. Another point is it's about the corticosteroid and dexamethasone. Many of dentists, they asked me their sealers that contain dexamethasone and corticosteroid. It may be beneficial inhibiting the immune system, but when we do a root canal, we don't want to inhibit the immunity. It's reverse. We don't want to shut down the immunity. We want to be active, to remove the bacteria, okay, to clean the bacteria and clean the inflammatory reaction. But whenever you use the corticosteroid, they will inhibit the immune system. Okay, so it's not our purpose. So my advice is to avoid using corticosteroid. That if you have a sealer that contains the corticosteroid, yes, Indofil is one of them that contains the corticosteroid. Really, I am not using it because I said that I don't want to shut down the immune system. I want to be active to do its job. Epoxy resin, at the last decade, it was most of the dentists, they use it, especially the AH+. Epoxy resin is defined or returned to the Dentsply company. They produce it, and it's much more related to the, when we say epoxy resin, all the dentists, they go their mind to the Dentsply. So epoxy resin have very good points. The bonding ability, because it is a resin, okay, because it is a resin type sealer, so it is chemically bond to the dentine surface. So the bonding is very good of the resin of this sealer, and it's non-resorbable. It's less soluble when we compare to the zinc oxide eugenol and the other types of the sealer we mentioned as a glass ionomer or calcium hydroxide one or silicate one. And have a good working time. You can mix it and use it to the entire your work during a day. If you do a 4 root canal or 5 root canal in a day, you can mix it once and use it for the all of the case, because the mixing time is a lot, is 4 hours. But we have a problem with the zinc oxide with the resin cement, is that they show the mild inflammatory reaction when they go, because it's non-resorbable. Our first point is that because it's not resorbable, the immune system will not remove it. Okay, it's the point. The second one, it produces mild inflammatory reaction. When we say it produces the mild inflammatory reaction, it means that when you use such type of the sealer, especially when it's go over of the apex, it will produce pain. The patient may have pain for 1 week or more than 1 week. Even I have patient that I treated with the epoxy resin, the pain remained for the months, 1 month, 2 months. Why? Because I do over puffing, especially if this a lot of amount of the sealer go out of the apex, and the immune system is not resorb it. Okay, and let's say if the sealer produce the inflammatory reaction, so we should avoid it. My advice is that every time when I use a sealer that's not resorbable, okay, I don't like the puffing or extrude the sealer, especially in huge amount. Keep your work in the root canal system, not go out of the apex, to not produce pain for the patient, post-operative pain for the patient, so the patient will be relaxed and you are relaxed in your position. When you use the sealer, every time when you want to buy a sealer or change it, first of all ask your assistant about the sealer, if you have assistant, of course. Ask him about it's good for the mixing, because my assistant more times they said, Doctor, I am relaxed with this type of the sealer and I am not relaxed with this type, because when I mix it, it will not be mixed. I'll be tired. It need more time to mix it. So you know that there's some point is that the dentist working and we are not mix the sealers. So the mixing and the time consuming during the mixing is very important to you, okay? And the assistant will be tired and you are waiting for the sealer for 3-5 minutes. It's a lot of time during the procedure. And there is some sealer, even you mix it for the 5 minutes, it will be not mixed. So the mixing is very important point, and the assistant maybe know this point better than us. So every time ask your assistant about the sealer, about the mixing, it's good or not. I will focus, we will go to the we have the silicate one. Silicate, it was the Getaflow they produced by the Colton company. It was a sealer that contained Getaberka point. They use it as a sealer, but the dentist, when they receive such material, they use it as a permanent root canal filling. This is flowable. We cannot control the filling, the flowability in the apical area. That's why we cannot use this material for the obturation. It should be used in the limit as a sealer, not as the permanent one. Okay? So I am not really, I didn't use this, and I'm not in interest to use the sealer one because I don't need it. I have the better option. I will mention it now. I will give your focus to the last type of the sealer, which is calcium silicate. I receive all of the questions, okay? I write it already and I will answer it at the end. So what question you have, you can write it. After I complete this one, I will answer one by one, okay? And not hesitate to ask everything. I will answer all of the questions. So we will jump to the calcium silicate. Calcium silicate, it's the modern technology in producing the sealer. It is the newest one, okay? So we said that this is the sealer of the century. We have two types in the calcium silicate sealer. We have MTA base and we have bioceramic one. You know, all of the company as a business, they want to make a sealer for us, for the dentist, that contain the most property that we want and extract the disadvantage from this type of the sealer. So they produce a new calcium silicate, which was the bioceramic type, okay? And they changed the MTA base sealer from the classical composition to the new one. So nowadays, even we have the bio MTA. But the bioceramic sealer and the MTA base sealer, they are both the calcium silicate. They classified in the branch of calcium silicate sealer, but they are different. They are differ in the composition, okay, and they are differ also in the clinical use and in the physical property also. But as general, they have a lot of properties that are same. Okay, the first of all, both of them, they have antimicrobial effect. The antimicrobial effect, it is direct or indirect. It means the sealer, when contact to the bacteria, it will be like bactericidal. And this is the direct one. The indirect effect of the silicate cement, which is the calcium, the bioceramic and the MTA based sealer, is that their pH is above the 12. They form a high alkalinity environment. You know, the lesions, the bacterial byproduct, even the bacteria, they love the acidity. Okay, whenever you make a alkaline environment, they will not survive, and that's give us the antimicrobial effect. So their pH above the 12, and they are very high in antibacterial property. This is the one. Highly biocompatible. It means that the body tolerate the both of them, and the body not produce any inflammatory reaction to them. They accept that. The body accept both of the type of the sealer. They are not soluble. This is very important. Adhesion, they have, especially the bioceramic one, they have the best bonding between the sealers. Okay, so especially the bioceramic, in the properties, they have the best antimicrobial effect. They have the best biocompatibility, and in the solubility rate, they are the best. Also, in the bonding, they have the best bonding, and they have the best sealing ability. Setting time, because they are in the syringe, nowadays the MTA base and the bioceramic, the company, they made it in the syringe. So when you use it, it's ready for the use. So the working time, you didn't need to, or you don't want to mix it. Already they mix it and it's ready for the use. Only you need the setting time. So the setting time is between the 2.5 hours, and they will be set according to the humidity and water that present in the canal or in the periapical area, because they absorb water and they will set. Their flowability is very high, especially the bioceramic. Radio opacity is, they have very nice radio opaque image in the X-ray. According to the discoloration, the MTA have more discoloration than the bioceramic one, but they have a very big disadvantage, is that they are very difficult in retreatment. The retreatment, when you do a root canal or obturation with a bioceramic or MTA, it is very, very difficult. Very difficult. The most, or the disadvantage point of this sealer, they have 3 disadvantages. Even the bioceramic or the MTA, they are expensive. First of all, they are very expensive for a dentist. The second one, as I mentioned, it's for the retreatment. It's very difficult because they are not resorbable. Either they are very hard. When they set, it's very difficult to remove such type of the sealer, especially in the apical area. I received a lot of cases. They obturated with this type of the sealer, with the bioceramic or MTA. Really, I spent a lot of energy to retreat such cases, and sometimes you need to use the ultrasonic to remove such sealer in the apical area, because you cannot remove it by the rotary or by the like get a solvent. They will not affect it, so it's not resorbable. It will be not resorbed. If it goes out of the apex, it will be remain forever. So what is the difference between the bioceramic and MTA? In the composition, the MTA sealer is composed 80% of Portland cement. Portland cement is the normal cement that they use for the building in the houses, okay? And the bituminous oxide is 20%. While the bioceramic one, it contains, from the name bioceramic, it contains the ceramic particle and glass particle. It contains zirconium, it contains calcium phosphate and calcium hydroxide is the very important. The calcium hydroxide and the calcium phosphate, they are the active part of the bioceramic sealer. They do all of the job for you. Calcium hydroxide, you know that they like the normal tooth structure, and the bioceramic, they have the composition is very near to the root canal, to the tooth structure, especially the dentine. They form the sealer, the structure near to the dentine. Okay. So for the clinical use, they both have a very beneficial effect. Even when I received the cases with the preoperative radiograph, and when I take the history, I took the history from the patient, so I will decide to use which type of the sealer. Okay, we have the clinical situations that we need to use the MTA and to use bioceramic type. Even for the MTA and bioceramic, they are different in the clinical use. And for the other cases, in my clinic, I use the zinc oxide ethanol. I have the epoxy resin, and I have MTA based sealer, and I have the bioceramic one. I cannot use one type of the sealer for all of the case. Keep in your mind this point. I cannot use one type of the sealer for all of the case. Why? If you treat a vital tooth, okay, why should I go to the bioceramic sealer or MTA sealer? The anatomy is normal. When I say the vital one, it means the irreversible pulpitis. It's not chronic. It's not, okay. It's not necrotic. There's no. It's not open apex. It's not resorbed. So everything is normal. Here you don't need to use, first of all, expensive sealer. The second one, it's not resorbable. Okay. Third one, think about that. If you fail to treat the tooth or the canal, how you can retreat the case? It's very difficult for. So most of the case when they are vital, or I am the first dentist that I treat the case, the tooth, I will choose zinc oxide ethanol. Okay, it's my first choice, because zinc oxide ethanol, as I mentioned, I can control the thickness, the flowability of the sealer, and the manipulation is, I am very comfort with the zinc oxide ethanol. The manipulation is very good for me, for my assistant. The third one, it's very important that have antibacterial property, and even I focus on my cases that when I use the calcium, I use zinc oxide ethanol, they have less post-operative pain. So it's very good for me. That's what I want and the patient want. Post-operative pain is very important. Okay, whenever you have a lot of puffing, especially if it is huge amount, the patient will have pain for more than months. Why I do for this for the patient? So here, especially when the case is vital, it's irreversible pulpitis, I will keep using the zinc oxide ethanol. It's better for me. In special cases, if it is necrotic or I have resorption or if it is retreatment, okay, most of the case of the retreatment, I will use MTA base or bioceramic. Why? Because when I retreat the case, there is missing anatomy, maybe there is resorption, okay, maybe there is ledge, maybe there is the previous dentist, they distort the apical area, they distort the anatomy, or okay, so they didn't clean it well. So I will irrigate and I clean according to my protocol in irrigation. And when I go to the obturation, I want to seal every point in the root canal root canal anatomy system. Okay, I want to seal every point, lateral canals, accessory canal. Okay, so here I will choose the bioceramic or MTA one. If the canal, most of the time, maybe I choose the bioceramic one, because the flowability of the bioceramic is better than the MTA based sealer. This is the first one. The second one, manipulation, the flowability is very good. The manipulation is easier with the bioceramic one. And the bioceramic, the very important point is the bonding. The bonding, it will be chemically bond, okay, to the dentine, and it will be easily removed after the obturation. Only by the water and air spray to the pulp chamber, you see that a very clean, not sealer. You cannot imagine how it's easily you can remove it, and how its strong bonding gives you, and it will not affect your bonding with the final restoration. When you put like SDR, when you put a composite, okay, it will be one piece from the occlusal surface to the apical area. That's what we need from the biomechanical point. We should avoid every void and spaces, especially between the guttapercha and the first layer of the restoration. When you put it on, when we give the term of the coronal sealing, we should avoid any space or gap. Why? When the force goes to the tooth, should immediately, uniquely transfer to the apical area without distribution in the lateral area of the tooth, because it causes, after a while, it causes the crown fracture. So in the retreatment case, I can use bioceramic one, MTA one. For me, maybe most of the time, if I can and I have the bioceramic one, I will choose it. Or I will jump to the epoxy resin. Epoxy resin, because there is, as I said, because of the articles, they mentioned that they produce a little anti-inflammatory. As much I can, maybe I avoid in this one. And you know that I am not comfort with the sealers that they are in the syringes, except the MTA and bioceramic one. Like the epoxy one, I cannot control the thickness, the flowability of the sealer. As you know that the anatomy, they are differ from, even in one tooth, the canals, maybe one tight, one small, and one is very large. So I cannot use the exact thickness for all of the canal. In the large canal, I need more thicker sealer, and in the tight canal, I need thinner one to be more flowability. So it's for the open apex, of course, you should use the MTA or bioceramic one. For the perforations, you should use it. When there is distorted anatomy, what we mean by the distorted anatomy, especially in the apical area, it means that we have no tag back. Okay, when you put the guttapercha, when you have no tag back, it's better to you to use the bioceramic or the MTA or non-resorbable sealer to fix and seal the area. use the sealer that have the best bonding, and it's not resolvable for such cases. But of course, after a good cleaning, a good irrigation of the area. Without irrigation and cleaning, you cannot oxygenate the area, or the prognosis, it will be not good, and the treatment, it will be worse. Okay, keep in your mind every time, when you are sure you did a great job, or you apply all of the procedure points, your protocol in the cleaning of the canal. Okay, when you are sure everything is perfect, after that use the bioceramic and MTA. Okay, because you will not have maybe the chance to retreat the tooth. Some questions: I received bioceramic, is resorbable or not? If not, why puffing? Okay, puffing, we need puffing or not? Puffing, maybe it's not mandatory, but puffing maybe show something for us. When I look to the x-ray, when I see the x-ray, I see the dentist making puffing. It means the dentist clean from the coronal to the apical area. Especially the apical area. The dentist clean it, and he or she had a patency and glide path, and to the end of the procedure. But when I do not see a puffing, maybe not, we cannot generalize this rule for all of the cases. We say if there is no puffing, it means the dentist didn't have the patency and glide path. No, but maybe the dentist failed to have the patency and glide path. So that's why the dentist, you see, and you see that they put a cases in style Italiano. When they showed their cases, every time they made a small puff. Why? This small puff, instead of the dentist say that I have a patency and glide path and I obturate it and clean it, that all of the speak and the terms, they will be collected in this puff. But we do not need to do a huge of the puffing or push a lot of sealer to the apical area. There's no article, there's no word even in the textbook that say push a lot of sealer to the apical area. There's no benefit. So you should, all of the time, you say that it's error or mistake from the dentist every time, because maybe the dentist cannot control the amount of the sealer. They want to produce a small puffing, they push a lot of sealer, and it's like the mistake of the dentist, they do that. So every time try to make a small puffing, very small. You don't need to push a sealer. It will, especially those type of the sealer that they produce inflammatory reaction. Okay, even if they not produce it, when you push a lot of sealer, it will be produce postoperative pain for the patient. So every time, not think only to do a root canal and to show for your friends in the Facebook. You should think about the patient, how the patient feel when he or she goes back to the home. Okay, and especially if you are your start point, you are newly graduated dentist, you are not very confident. You do root canal, okay, it's very good for you, but when you do the over puffing, so maybe the patient come back and push you about that, doctor, I have pain. Doctor, you do root canal for me. If you do root canal for me, how you did a root canal for me, how I can still feel the pain? You will not understand. You know that we have patients, they think that if you do a root canal, the patient when go out from your clinic, you should the tooth have no sensation of pain. So every time in my protocol, I want to patient have the as much as I can have no post-operative pain. It's very important for the patient and for you also. What should we do for the pain relieving after the root canal system? Okay. Every time I prescribe analgesic, I will never, maybe more than 90% of the cases, I will not prescribe the antibiotic. And in reverse, 95% I will prescribe the analgesic. My first line is paracetamol. Okay. The second one, ibuprofen. You know that we have, according to the pain is mild, moderate, severe. For the mild, you need only like I prescribe Panadol, I prescribe Doliprane, paracetamol, maybe 1 gram, okay, 1/4. If it's mild, I give both of them, paracetamol and ibuprofen, 400 milligram. If it is severe, I can jump to the diclofenac, and I will give the paracetamol for all of the case. Okay, I will give paracetamol, but maybe I change if it is severe. I change the ibuprofen with the diclofenac. Of course, if the stomach is okay and you have no hypertension and systemic disease. So, but post-operative pain is normal within the mild to moderate, not severe. Mild, moderate, till 1 week, especially on the biting. When the patient do biting, it's okay, because we know that you clean the canal. With the patency, you go 1 mm, 2 mm over the apical area. So there is like some wounds will be, you made some wounds in the area. So it's okay. You need 1 week to 2 weeks, it will be healed. And the most important point that you should ensure your patient every time say, okay, not be confused, I do a great job for you, you will be okay. Okay, of course, if you do that exactly, no, you didn't do wrong things, mistakes, you didn't miss the anatomy, or you do over or under obturations. Okay, you should ensure the patient this is normal for 1 week, even it go for the 2 weeks, it will be relief. Every time I say to the patients, like the curve. Okay, the second day it will be much less than the first, and the third less than the second day. Another question, what type of sealer the fiber post should not be placed immediately? Okay, to the fiber post normal, I can put it immediately after the obturation. It's normal, but you know that when you do obturation, you should have a tag bag. If you have a tag bag, it's impossible to putting the screw, even fiber post or the screw, and the getaberka go out of the apex. Most of the dentists, they afraid from this point. If they put the screw, they think that the getaberka go out of the apex. You have two scenarios. The first one, if you do a good obturation, you have a good tag back, it will be not go over. Okay. The second one, if you put the fiber post or screw, your getaberka go out of the apex, means that your tag back, it was not, you didn't have the tag back. Okay, the getaberka not similar to your preparation, so you made some problems in the apical area. So this is the point. But if your procedure is correct, so you can put it all of the cases. When I have time, I will put the fiber post. My first choice is fiber post. Really, I'm not using it many times. For the cases there's a lot of tooth structure I lost, I put the fiber post. But if I put the fiber post, so I will put it in the same visit, it's okay, there's no effect for it. I will clean the canal. The only one, when you put the fiber post, if you use the zinc oxide ethanol, it will affect the bonding. Keep it in your mind, okay? For the fiber post, if you use the zinc oxide ethanol, you should etch the canal or the area you remove or get a berka, and rinse it, apply the bonding. After that, apply your cement. Which type of the sealer is used in the perforation area? For the perforation, the best type is the calcium silicate type, which is the MTA based sealer, and bioceramic type. You know that this rule is according to the area of the perforation. If the perforation it is within the canal, you can use or fix it by MTA or bioceramic one. But if it is in the floor of the pulp chamber, you should go to the classic type of the MTA, which is the powder liquid. You mix it in the thick consistency and you apply it and you seal it. You know that because the sealing of the MTA for such perforation in the apical, in the floor of the pulp chamber is better. You cannot use the sealers. Okay, I think it's clear. Never ever use sealers for fixing the perforation in the floor of the pulp chamber. You know why? Because after that you should apply acid etch, you should apply bonding, okay, rinse it. So with this procedure already the sealer will be go, because it is flowable, and with the water you apply it, it will be removed. So you should use, and it will not seal the area very good. So you should jump to the powder liquid, the classic type of the MTA that we have in the capsules. You have the capsule of the powder MTA, and you can mix it with the normal saline or even with the anesthesia. Mix it in thick consistency and apply it by the small brush, bonding brush, to the area, only to the area of the perforation. If you have other questions, for the open apex, every time I use bioceramic and MTA according to the type, or according to the amount of how much the apex is open, and it means according to the age. If I have a tight canal, tight or small canals, always I use the bioceramic type. Choose the bioceramic, is better. Or if you have no bioceramic, choose the MTA, it's the similar one, okay? But the MTA, the MTA particles is larger than the bioceramic one. They have larger particles, so their flowability is less than the bioceramic one. That's why I prefer for the tight canals to use the bioceramic one, because they have higher flowability. For the large one, you can use the MTA. You know that we have more calcium silicate types. We have the biodentin also, but I didn't mention it because we haven't in our market, or it's very few. But you know, the popular one is the MTA, and the best one is the bioceramic and the MTA. So here for the, please explain the procedure of the treating open apex with the MTA. So I mentioned that treatment is normal. You do a pulp extubation. This about you did a diagnose. Okay, this you diagnose the case as a irreversible pulpitis, and the completely entire the pulp is inflamed. So you will go to extubate the pulp, clean the area. When you go to the obturation, most of the case you should apply the MTA. Okay, this is applying the MTA to the open apex is depend on your skill and your knowledge about how can you manipulate. Okay, how much facility you have in such case. You know, all of the open apex ages, they are a child or young age. They are not cooperative. This is the first difficulty for me. When the patient is not cooperative, this is for me the first difficulty of the case. The second one, you should have facility like a sensor. Your x-rays should be good, not the x-ray is in another building, in another room. Every time you put the MTA and go to another room to take the x-ray, you should have the sensor, at least have the sensor in your room because when you plug your MTA, you should put the MTA in the apical area. So you have the working length, okay, but you should condense it till it will reach your working length. So you maybe for each canal you need to take x-ray or two or more than two to confirm that the MTA is in its place. Okay, this is the first. So the third one is your skill. How much you treat such cases, you will have more skill and you can easily manage those type of the cases. Maybe in a week at least I have 1 or 2 cases of the apexification, lower 6, lower 7, and I document a lot of cases about one, and still I am follow up them. They are very good, and I have amazing, wonderful prognosis and results in the lower 6, lower 7, upper 6, posterior and anterior one. So for the anterior one it's much more easier, but for the multi-rooted teeth it's much difficult, but it's not impossible. You can do it. You can, as I mentioned, that you should have facility and you have the knowledge, and you should manipulate the MTA in a good way. Okay, that's what we want. You need to do it. If it is the age of the patient or the first before I explain what I want to explain another point, is that we have two terms. We have open apex, we have straight apex. We should distinguish those this two type of the tooth. Open apex, it means that the area of the apical area, they are away from each other, like that. Okay, this is the open apex, while the straight apex is like that. So treatment of the straight apex is much more easier than the open apex. When I have the straight apex, I can manage the case easier. It's easier for me. Okay, and even for the for the most of the cases, you can apply Getaberka with the combination with the bioceramic. Okay, you can manage this, but in the straight apex it's mandatory to put MTA. This is another topic, we will discuss it, okay, in near future in details. Can we use zinc oxygenol in retreatment cases? Why not? You can use it. You can use it, of course.